Adam Reach will anchor midfield, then Grady Diangana, Tom Rogic and Carlan Grant behind Brandon Thomas Asante. The bench is occupied by Alex Palmer, Connor Townsend, Dara O'Shea, Matt Phillips, Daryl Dike, Jason Malumbi, Jed Wallace, John Swift and Okai Kushlu. Chesterfield, who've beaten Anstey Nomads 3-0 in the fourth qualifying round and then put out two sides from the EFL. They've won 1-0 against Northampton in the first round and 2-0 at AFC Wimbledon in the second round. Chesterfield will line up with Ross Fitzsimons in goal, Jeff King, Tyrone Williams, Jamie Grimes and Bailey Clements at the back, Mike Jones the holder in midfield, then Liam Mandeville, Tim Akinola, Darren Oldacre and Armando Dobra behind Joe Quigley. And the Chesterfield bench is Lucas Kovalan, the goalkeeper, Brandon Horton, Kabongo Shimanga, Jack Clark, Raheem Shackelford, Jays Ukukbulam, Akwasi Asante, Ash Palmer and Ollie Banks. A bit of history being made by the referee today, Rebecca Welch. 9 matches, 29 yellow cards and no reds for her so far this season. The first time that a female official has been in charge of a senior West Bromwich Albion men's fixture, and she made history in this competition when she refereed Birmingham City against Plymouth Argyle, the first female official ever to take charge of an FA Cup tie. The players take the lead on her first whistle, and it'll be Albion to kick off when they get back to their feet shortly. There it goes, it's Tom Rogic to get the first touch of the game. Gardner Hickman on this near side, the right. Albion playing from left to right, away from their travelling fans as we look in the first half. And Gardner Hickman gets David Button an early feel of the ball. He's all in purple today. Button lost his place after dropping a few clangers in the early part of the season. Alex Palmer has come in and taken full advantage with 9 clean sheets since displacing Button, but he'll be keen, as all the other players for Albion today, have a good game. And Thomas Asante has spread the play to this right-hand side to Diangana. Diangana moves in field. He's temporarily held up, but Jake Livermore picks up the pieces and exchanges passes with Gardner Hickman. Back into the Albion half and Ajayi. Look at Button's starting position again. He's virtually able to whisper into Shemi Ajayi's ear. He's that high up the pitch, Bomber.
Right, halfway up his own half there. Just came out. Had to shuffle back very, very quickly.
It's got lobbed by Sarr of Watford from the halfway line in the early part of the season. Button. Here's Rogic for Diangana. Sliding challenge from Clements, the Chesterfield left back, produces an Albion throw, which Gardner Hickman takes. Back to the club captain, Jake Livermore. A rare outing for the 33-year-old today. Here's Grant latching onto Livermore's crossfield pass, gets to the byline, clips it back.
What a goal!
What a goal! And
again.
what a start inside 90 seconds. First time roof of the net, left-footed from Brandon Thomas Asante, and that's quieted the home crowd. Livermore's crossfield pass, Grant with the pullback, and Thomas Asante, no mistake. 90 seconds gone, and it's Chesterfield 0, Albion 1.
Yeah, I said to Daz a few minutes ago, he only scored spectacular goals. And there's another one for you. Good one from Grantix on that left-hand side. Got to the byline, chipped it back, and Asante's just caught it on the half volley, and he's drilled it into the nets with so much pace again. Terrific goal from this young, terrific goal scorer as far as I'm concerned, Rob. He only scores special goals, doesn't he?
Well, it's his 6th. One of them was a penalty. There was that incident where he had his penalty half stopped by the Rotherham keeper, but followed in the rebound, but caught that as clean as a whistle, didn't he?
Beautiful. Everything about it was spot on. A good ball in as well, we must give from Grant.
The crossfield ball from Livermore was a terrific pass in the first place.
The whole movement from one side of the pitch to the other was tremendous. Couldn't have asked for a better start, could the Albion?
So Thomas Asante with the goal, Grant gets the assist, and Psalm 23 being bellowed out by the travelling fans behind David Button's goal. 1 minute 27 seconds I had on my watch when that hit the net from Thomas Asante. Talk about perfect starts. Here's Gardner Hickman just short of the halfway line. Back to Shemi Ajayi. Ajayi floats it forward down the right, but Clements can shepherd it back to Fitzsimons, all in orange. You stood absolutely no chance with that. Paul Cook in the short sleeve shirt, so he's obviously doesn't feel the cold, Paul Cook, but an early setback for his plans, sipping at the cup of coffee Cook. But wouldn't have wanted his side to go behind inside 2 minutes, which is exactly what's happened here on BBC Radio WM 95.6 FM, DAB digital radio, BBC Sounds today and Freeview channel 722. David Button took an extra touch there, and Joe Quigley was able to charge it down. Thankfully, the ball skewed behind for a goal kick to Albion.
Yeah, Quigley's closed him down very, very quickly. And once Button takes that extra touch, Rob, it all closes down, and he got the ricochet, but luckily he got away with it. Button there got to be a little bit quicker.
Doesn't really inspire confidence, does he? I said that earlier on in the season. Here's Livermore, just outside his own penalty area. 1-0 to the Albion here at Chesterfield on BBC Radio WM in the FA Cup third round. Gardner Hickman on the right-hand side, moves in field, back to Livermore. He'll poke it out to Diangana, approaching the edge of the Chesterfield penalty area into Rogic. Rogic pulls it back, another opening possibly. Chesterfield managed to clear their lines, but Kelly will collect the loose ball for Albion to Grant. Now Diangana about 30 yards out, looking for the run through the middle of reach. It's come out to Livermore, who tests the goalkeeper with a shot from distance. It's able to bob it down into the turf. Fitzsimon to grab it at the second attempt, but Albion absolutely chock full of confidence at the moment.
Yeah, had a good start, terrific start from Albion. Jake Livermore's had a good start, Rob, hasn't he? And I've just seen the Chesterfield manager telling Akinoma to get closer to him. He's having too much freedom.
Well, here's Dobra, the Albanian, down the left-hand side, coming in field near the point of the Albion penalty area. Rogic across, but the ricochet will be collected by the fullback Clements on this near side. In a tussle with possession with Diangana, and that's come off Bailey Clements last for an Albion throw-in.
Well, that shows the work rate of Albion. Diangana back on his own goal line there, you know, by the corner flag, chasing back, defending, doing a defensive job. That's what Albion are all about these days.
Yeah, Burnley have taken the lead at Bournemouth. Manuel Benson with that early goal. Gardner Hickman taking the throw to Livermore, back to Kelly, will chip it forward, looking for the goal scorer Thomas Asante. Grimes with the long blonde ponytail will head it away, and eventually it goes out for a Chesterfield throw. Boreham Wood 0, Accrington Stanley 1 is another latest. Ryan Astley, as Quigley makes his way forward, Gardner Hickman gets the touch, and it loops into the air, and it'll be a corner to Chesterfield, so this is a decent response from the non-league team.
Yeah, Quigley's done well there, but Gardner Hickman's got the block on. Got to give the corner away, but a little bit of danger there just for Albion this moment. They took the quick one, 2-on-1 as well.
Corner taken short. It's King, the right back, on the point of the penalty area, onto his left foot. Here comes the cross on the far post. It's an equaliser. It's Joe Quigley who's equalised for Chesterfield. 7 minutes in, 1-1. I think it's Quigley, or was it Grimes, that got the touch round the back. The fans all rose as one in front of me as the cross came in from King. But I can tell you that Chesterfield have got level, and that's changed the atmosphere well and truly. In the 8th minute, what a start to this game. Tyrone Williams credited on the scoreboard with the goal. As I say, when the cross came in from King, the whole stand in front of us rose. Could see the ball hit the net, but until confirmation came on the scoreboard, it was impossible to see who'd scored. But it's 1-1.
Yeah, terrific response from Chesterfield, Rob, down this left-hand side. Caught Albion out, a ball got in there, and it's, don't know who got that final touch at the far stick. But it's you know, it's a good response from Chesterfield. Now we've got a game on.
We have. Albion supporters have got a little bit quiet, as I said before the game. It felt like it was going to be a hostile afternoon on and off the pitch, and it's perfect to be so. Certainly these fans in front of us are well and truly up for it, Bomber, aren't they?
That's right, definitely, but as I say, they're full of it now.
Well, here they come again. Chesterfield down the right, the cross takes a deflection and it's over the bar for another Chesterfield corner. And Albion have just lost their shape a little bit, lost their organisation, haven't they?
That's right, it's because of the pressure that Chesterfield have put on them. They've sent bodies forward, and as you say, it's a corner that created the first goal. Now it's a corner from the opposite side. Albion have got to defend this one. They don't want to go behind so early.
Corners taken short, chipped in off Garner and out wide for a Chesterfield throw.
Well, you know the goal, Rob, as I mentioned it at the time, Albion caught out, they took a quick 1-2 2 against 1, and that allowed them to knock a good ball into the box. And
well, here comes the cross, it's cleared by Ajayi, not very far, and that's just wide. From Mandeville on his left foot this time. Not too far past the far post, and Albion are looking to get a toehold back in the game all of a sudden now, aren't they?
They want to get control, they want to start getting hold of the ball again like they did in the early stages, but what an atmosphere here, Rob, it's brilliant.
Incredible. Here is Gardner Hickman coming inside. Middlesbrough 0, Brighton 1 is the latest. Pascal Gross, the German, with that goal. Gardner Hickman wins a free kick confirmation. It was Tyrone Williams, the former Solihull Moors defender, that got the goal for Chesterfield after Brandon Thomas Asante, less than 90 seconds in, had given Albion the lead. 1-1 on BBC Radio WM, with Grant in towards Reach, and it's a clumsy challenge over on the far side, and the defender did his job, got his body between Adam Reach and the ball, and it's behind for a goal kick to Chesterfield. Of course, famously got to the semi-finals in 1997 when David Elleray ruled a goal out the semi-final against Middlesbrough. Finished 3-3 from memory at Old Trafford. Chesterfield could have gone through to Wembley that day. I remember John Duncan's glasses, the Chesterfield manager, being knocked off in the celebration. Sean Dyche, former Burnley manager, was playing for Chesterfield that day. Kevin Davis was the Chesterfield centre forward. Relegated in successive relegations to the National League in 2018. 5 years outside the EFL, Chesterfield, but Albion with this all-changed team getting the perfect start, going in front less than a minute and a half into the game, but Tyrone Williams with a Chesterfield equaliser on 7 minutes, and all of a sudden there are quite a few anxious players in green and yellow at the moment out there, Bomber, aren't there?
Yeah, they're knocked back, Rob. You know, and the Albion supporters, that one, and they've gone quiet. They've been knocked back, but you've got to say, you've got to give the home side good credit, because they, you know, they didn't feel sorry for themselves going one behind. They took the game to Albion and they've got the equaliser. Now it's, you know, it really is a game.
Paul Cook always bellowing, which is why he's a bit Sean Dyche-esque and never has any voice at the end of a game. As Chesterfield float it long down the left-hand side, it's into touch for a throw to Albion. Bournemouth 1, Burnley 1. Ryan Christie with the Bournemouth equaliser now at Dean Court. Gardner Hickman with the defensive throw for Albion, gets it back off Kelly, and it's floated away on the far side for the 20-year-old Zach Ashworth, whose Dan, we understand, has made the trip to watch his boy play today at left back for Albion. Ajayi, his first minutes since, well, pretty much this first start anyway, since the end of August. Got a few minutes on the pitch the other day against Reading. Here's the Nigerian again. Oh, it's a poor pass from Ajayi, straight to Grimes on halfway for Chesterfield. Clements into midfield, and Dobra. Garner challenges him, but Chesterfield pick up the loose ball here with Dobra again. Moves in field, 30 yards from goal, to an outlet on the right-hand side, who is King. King with the cross. Ajayi on the stretch. manages to poke it away, headed further clear by Grant up towards Thomas Asante. Thomas Asante onto Reach. And Reach being hassled by Akinola, but still works the angle for the pass infield for Brandon Thomas Asante. Needs a bit of assistance now from Livermore. Livermore goes down under challenge from Quigley, and that will be an Albion free kick about 15 yards from the halfway line.
Yeah, they're closing Albion down at every opportunity, Rob. They're not allowing Albion to settle on the ball now. Dobra's having a little bit of joy in there. Middlesbrough 1,
Brighton 1. Chuba Akpom, who's really been among the goals for Middlesbrough this season, on target for them again this afternoon. It's his 14th goal of the season, Chuba Akpom. 1-1 here at Chesterfield on BBC Radio WM. I say we're on 95.6 FM, DAB digital radio, Freeview channel 722 through your telly, and today on BBC Sounds, because rights issues allow us to broadcast FA Cup ties on BBC Sounds when we can't normally with Premier League or EFL matches on BBC local radio. Here is Diangana on the right hand side, moving the ball in field for Jake Livermore. Tom Rogic tussling for possession and still battling away. He's done well there, the Australian, to shake off Mike Jones, and Rogic feeds Diangana on the right hand side. Diangana into the penalty area, taking on Clements, but overdid it, and Clements was able to shepherd the ball behind. Goal kick Chesterfield.
Rogic did exceptionally well there, using his broad body strength.
Yeah.
Didn't need to get hold possession, laid it out to Diangana, and he's just tried a trick too many, Rob. It's come to nothing. So they didn't think they were in for a game. They know now, don't they, Albion? It's a very physical side, these, Chesterfield.
Yeah, Paul Cook had a wand of a left foot as a player. I remember him playing for Wolves, and then later on commentary in the 90s during his playing career, but he gets his players to dig in as a manager, doesn't he?
Yeah, they're very physical.
Yeah.
Some big lads, haven't they? They've got some big lads all over the park.
And sloppy play defensively though between Grimes and Clements. It's out for an Albion throw on this right hand side, which Gardner Hickman takes. Square for Livermore, facing his own goal momentarily, knocks it back to Kelly on the halfway line. Rogic immediately set upon by Jones, and the 35-year-old who's wearing number 35 as well for Chesterfield. A good job for his side there. Chesterfield scorer Tyrone Williams out to the right hand side, and Jeff King who floats it forward looking for Quigley. Ashworth underneath it, and Ajayi will steer it back to David Button. I must admit, again, don't want to labour the point, but whenever Button's got the ball at his feet, I'm not the most confident bomber, I have to say.
He doesn't do things quickly, does he?
No.
That is the thing about it. He's got to do things more quickly.
Here's Livermore at diagonal pass into midfield, and Rogic. Chesterfield tried to break it up. Ashford won the header. Reach now onto Grant. There's no offside. It's Grant into the area. Half stopped by the keeper, but it's in. Albion back in front. Carlin Grant returns to the side with a goal, and Albion regain the lead 16 minutes into this game. Lovely pass out to the left hand side for Adam Reach, picks out Carlin Grant. Chesterfield defenders were looking towards the assistant referee. There was no flag. Grant ran on into the penalty area. His shot was half stopped by the goalkeeper, but it ended up in the back of the Chesterfield net, and Albion in the lead again. Chesterfield 1, Albion 2.
Yes, Robert, great ball threaded through the Chesterfield defence, cut them open. Carlin Grant uses that pace he's got. He's got nobody in front of him, just one-on-one with the keeper, and he slid it past him. I think the keeper just might have got a touch, but it's bounced into the net, and Albion regained the lead. Just what they wanted.
How can they stay there this time? This is some cup tie, Bubble. We've had 17 minutes, we've had 3 goals already. Here comes Mandeville down the right hand side, but Jai able to shepherd it behind for a goal kick.
Yeah,
Blackpool 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Marvin Ekpiteta, the centre-back, with that goal. That's Championship against Premier League, of course, at Bloomfield Road. But this is a rip-roaring cup tie, isn't it? Huh?
I've said to you many times that is his position, Grant. He's got to play in off the left, on the left-hand side, cutting in, and that's what he's done there.
Well, here comes Diangana on this near side, feeding Rogic back towards Diangana. Jones gets the challenge in. Albion's first corner.
Yeah, Dean Garner's, he's taking the fullback on every time, isn't he? He gets a one-on-one with him, and he's taking him on, testing him out. He's won the corner this time.
Carlin Grant's 5th goal of the season, but he's first in a long while because he's not been playing under Carlos Corbrand.
We haven't seen him for a long time, have we, at all?
It's going to be an in-swinging Albion corner from this near side, high towards the far post. The heads rise and eventually deflected wide for a corner from the other side.
Desperate defending, had to be kicked away for another corner on that far side there, Rob. But Carlin Grant just giving a reminder to his manager, I'm still here. You know, that's what you have to do. You know, you're on the fringe of things, you've not been involved. Especially if you're a striker, go and get a goal or two.
Gardner Hickman to swing the Albion corner in, right-footed from the far side. Bends it in towards the near post, headed away, only as far as Dean Garner, who brings it down, shoots into the ground, which made it a fairly comfortable save for the keeper.
Yeah, he took the pace off it, Rob, didn't he? Once he hit it into the ground, the pace was taken off it, and the keeper's had an easy one into his chest. But it's a good response from Albion after giving that goal away, taking the game to Chesterfield.
Chesterfield 1, Albion 2 on BBC Radio WM, with Rob Gurney and 1968 FA Cup winner Tony Bomber Brown here at the Technique Stadium in North Derbyshire. Liverpool against Wolves to come from 8 o'clock, and then tomorrow I'm off to Edgeley Park for Stockport against Walsall from 2. We've got Villa against Stevenage from 4:30. All the FA Cup ties this weekend on BBC Radio WM, available on FM, DAB Digital, Freeview and BBC Sounds. A National League update for you. Southend United 1, Solihull Moors 0 down at Roots Hall. Jason Demetriou once from Walsall with the Southend goal. Here's Tyrone Williams, scorer for Chesterfield today. Got there eventually at about the 8th attempt. Identified a goal scorer. I say, all the crowd went up the minute that Jeff King's cross went in, and then it was bedlam.
Yeah, but Quigley, the lad up front for Sheffield, he's that target man, isn't he? Yeah. And he stays up there, and he's causing problems to Albion's back two at the moment. He's winning 1 or 2 headers.
2-1 to the Albion. Here's Williams for Chesterfield. Grimes, the captain, chip onto the head of Clements, who nods it down. Kelly with a clearance, charged down by Dobra. Dobra's got goal side of Gardner Hickman. It's Dobra squaring it back. It's loose in front and hooked away eventually by Adam Reach for a Chesterfield throw-in, but that was a close call. Here is Dean Garner actually collecting the ball before it's gone out for a throw. Gardner Hickman with the clearance. Grimes wins the header, but Dobra had a sight of goal. Well, he skinned Gardner Hickman and pulled it back, and suddenly Albion were on their heels, weren't they, defensively?
Yeah, I said earlier, he's involved in most things, Dobra.
Yeah.
He's a little nippy lad, Rob, and he caught Gardner Hickman out there, and Albion had to do some desperate defending. Adam Reach, he just booted it anyway. It could have gone to anybody, couldn't it? Yeah. The pullback from Dobra was brilliant.
21-year-old Albanian, signed from Paul Cook's former club Ipswich on a free last summer. I say he's scored 6 goals and scored in every round of the FA Cup for Chesterfield. At Anstey Nomads got the winner against Northampton and one of the goals at AFC Wimbledon. Quigley brings the ball down on his chest, nods it back to Dobra again. He's causing all sorts of problems for Albion at the moment, Dobra, near the point of the Baggies penalty area. Back to Grimes, rolls his studs over the top of the ball and then floats it out to King on the right, who wins the header. Looking for Mandeville. Grant, score of the second Albion goal, back there defending, finds the score of the first, Brandon Thomas Asante. Reach in midfield, pushing it forward for Rogic. Rogic to Dean Garner, and now the space for Grady Dean Garner. Clements has been sucked in field, gets out to him now. Dean Garner gets the shot away, it's blocked. But it's still Rogic that brings the loose ball down just outside the penalty area. He's outnumbered though by blue Chesterfield shirts, and they regain possession. And here is Dobra again. showed a bit too much of that to Gardner-Hickman that time. Rogic collects about a foot difference and about 3 stone difference in weight between Dobra and Rogic. Here is Dean Garner, about 30 yards from the Chesterfield goal, short into Thomas Asante, and Akinola has won the ball off Dean Garner, and now Chesterfield looking to spring forward. Albion have got plenty of cover defensively, but Akinola keeps going, the young man on loan from Arsenal. And the Chesterfield fans wanted a free kick against Martin Kelly, but it's not been given. But Chesterfield have recycled possession again in midfield here with Jones short for Oldacre. Now Dobra back to Jamie Grimes. Grimes along this near touch line for Clements. Grimes again in towards Akinola, but Gardner-Hickman gets in front of him, and Dean Garner finds Kelly, and Kelly dwelt on that, didn't know that Quigley was behind him, and it's going to be a Chesterfield throw. That's
what you find when you play against non-league sides, Robin. They don't let you sit on the ball. They're at you, and that's what they're doing, this Chesterfield side. They're closing Albion down all over the park.
24 minutes in. Chesterfield 1, Albion 2, Millwall 0, Sheffield United 1. Another latest in the FA Cup. Jefferson with that goal as Ajayi can't keep it in on the far side. It's going to be a Chesterfield throw level with the Albion 18-yard line. Short into Oldacre, back out to King. King goes down under Reach's challenge, and referee Rebecca Welch says that'll be a Chesterfield free kick out on that far touchline.
Yeah, linesman's give that over on that far side. The referee's gone with him, and now it's a situation Albion have got to defend a free kick again. They've got sending the big lads up. They have got some big defenders to send up, Rob, haven't they?
Yeah, Williams has already scored once today. Grimes, Quigley's in there, he's a big fella.
3 giants there.
They've Dobra at the other end of the scales. I hesitate to say Garden Gnome, but you get the comparison. King's going to take this free kick. In it goes, high towards the far post, looking for Grimes. Livermore got an important header away.
Good header from Livermore.
But Clements picks up the loose ball and finds Oldacre. Now it's Mandeville up against the other number 7, Rogic. It goes back to Oldacre, and Dobra gonna tease Livermore and guides it back to Oldacre, who then goes into his own half, and Jones set up down the right again for Chesterfield and Mandeville. Akinola short to Mandeville again, and Oldacre. Chesterfield enjoying good possession. Albion content just to sit in their shape at the moment. Here is Dobra moving in off the left on his right foot and slides a pass out to King. King with the early cross, looking for Quigley. An important clearance there by Gardner-Hickman. And it's tidied up at the back by Jones to goalkeeper Fitzsimons. 2-1 to the Albion on BBC Radio WM. 26 minutes in at the Technique Stadium in the 3rd round of the FA Cup.
Just having a good spell at the moment, Chesterfield. They're throwing men forward.
As Dobra looks for Quigley, Ajayi should win that foot race. He does, with just that extra yard of pace, but it will be a Chesterfield throw.
Yeah, just got us out of trouble there, Ajayi, with that little extra pace. But here Chesterfield come again. Got bodies in the box.
Clements with this throw, 6 yards from the corner flag, back to Dobra. Now Grimes on his left foot, just rolls it short for Oldacre. He finds the Chesterfield scorer Tyrone Williams, threaded out to the right hand side, and King on his left foot, whipped in, and Ajayi got the header, needed to because didn't know what was behind him. It's out for a 3rd Chesterfield corner.
Yeah, once again it's good play on that far side by Chesterfield, and they tend to finish up with a decent cross, Rob, because they know they've got big men to hit in there, and Albion have got to defend this corner.
Taken short by King. Again, the short one wasn't spotted. Clements back to King again, driven in low left-footed. Oh, it's a great save.
What a save.
It's a terrific save down at the base of his near post by David Button to deny Liam Mandeville, and it's behind for another Chesterfield corner. That was a terrific stop.
Yeah, he's found himself free, Mandeville, and he struck it from outside.
Again, the short corner. Dean Garner puts Clements off this time, and Albion might be able to break with Rogic. They can't, though. It's back with Clements, and that's played by Clements against Rogic for a Chesterfield throw.
Yeah, I'm just going back to that, Rob. He struck it, and I'll tell you, Button has done brilliantly, hasn't he? I think he was going one way, he's turned the other way, and he's just got his hand, a full hand to it at the post, bottom of the post, to keep out. I thought for a moment it was a goal there.
Well, we criticised him, but let's praise him where credit's due. Definitely. There. That was a top draw save from 33-year-old David Button. In for Alex Palmer today. Of course, 11 changes made by Carlos Corbrand from the last championship lineup for this FA Cup third round tie here in North Derbyshire. We've had 28 minutes. Chesterfield 1, Albion 2. Albion twice in front. Brandon Thomas Asante gave them the lead less than 90 seconds in, but on 7 minutes, Tyrone Williams equalised for Chesterfield. Carlin Grant on 16 minutes regaining the lead for Albion. Ashworth with a long ball down the left-hand side, looking for Thomas Asante. It's cleared but collected on halfway by Grant. Reach, Ashworth, infield to Grant again, who's hunted down and, well, has been fouled by Akinola, but from the reaction of the Chesterfield fans, and certainly at first sight from us, it looked as though Grant was just beaten by someone that was stronger in the challenge there.
Exactly, I thought that, Rob, but he got away with it there.
It's Ashworth out on the left for Albion. Back to Ajayi, 30 yards from his own goal. Back to the purple-clad David Button with the beard and the bald head, of course. He goes long down the middle looking for Thomas Asante, but Williams judged the bounce perfectly there. He came across and found the gloves of his goalkeeper, Ross Fitzsimons. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 2 now. Adam Lallana, former England international, with the second goal for Brighton up there on Teesside. Here is Grimes just outside his own penalty area for Chesterfield. Back to Fitzsimons. Williams out to King on the right. Bent forward by Jeff King all the way through to David Button. Free kick specialist King. He's scored 8 goals for Chesterfield from right back this season. I say he is a free kick specialist though. Button rolls the ball out to Ajayi, into Grant, a little bit casual, but it rebounds kindly for Livermore for Albion. Ashworth out on the left hand side to Reach. It's Thomas Asante to Ashworth again, looking for Rogic with the ball through the middle, but tried to get past too many players, and Oldacre collects, and Chesterfield on the attack with Mandeville down the right. Akinola steps over it, in comes the cross, and it's Reach flying in that heads it behind for a 5th Chesterfield corner of this first half.
Albion a little bit lackadaisical on the ball again, Rob. I'd just like to see him move the ball a little bit quicker. Got dispossessed again on that far side. Just a decent ball in the box, and it caused all sorts of problems for Albion.
Jeff King with the out-swinging corner, high towards the far post, and Grimes, who's won it in the air. Important header away by Kelly. Thomas Asante trying to bring the ball down. Does so. Livermore backing him up, finding Gardner-Hickman. Kelly at the edge of his penalty area. Sends it down the right touchline, but that will always disappear at a touch for a Chesterfield throw. I
can't tell you how good Chesterfield are at closing Albion down this afternoon, Rob. So you're not allowing Albion to play at the moment.
They are working exceptionally hard, which of course is a given for every team. But this is, when you consider, the difference in divisions, Albion being a championship side and Chesterfield being in the National League, it's all the more impressive, isn't it?
That's right. What you're hoping is that eventually, the tiredness will set in, and then you might just get a few more chances and opportunities.
13 minutes to half-time, 2-1 to Albion. Here comes Chesterfield again with Clements down this left-hand side. Gardner-Hickman with him, and he's driven it against Gardner-Hickman. And another Chesterfield corner.
Yeah, see the delight from Clements there, because he's won the corner, because he knows they're a danger from these set pieces.
It's King coming across, the free transfer from Halifax a couple of summers ago. Dobra waits as the short option this time, and King uses him. Dobra onto his right foot. It's a low cross and a back heel from Mandeville, which Button was able to spot and get down to the ball before it squeezed past him.
Yeah, just a ball knocked into that 6-yard box, Rob, and a flick on, helps it on the Chesterfield lad, and luckily Button read it. But Albion just can't get anything going up in the final third. Chesterfield's end. It's all Chesterfield at the moment.
But crucially, thanks to Thomas Asante and Grant's goals, Albion have the lead by 2-1.
That's the important thing.
Yeah. And they're trying to draw the sting a little bit by taking their time over this throw-in, for example, now, aren't they?
Yeah, and the more men that Chesterfield send up, Rob, you can see that it gives Albion a better chance on the break with the pace of Asante and Grant.
Livermore gets a foot in, high towards Tom Rogic, but Jones is there for Chesterfield. Reach will spread it to this right-hand side, and Taylor Gardner-Hickman up the line for Grady Diangana. Challenge going in from Dobra, and away for an Albion throw. I know we've mentioned him a lot, but I like the look of this lad Dobra, don't you? Bag of tricks.
Isn't he?
Yeah, that's a good word. Bag of tricks.
He's all over, he's full of life.
Yeah.
He's like a bottle of pop.
It's Kelly. Square to Ajayi. Ashworth up to Grant, but King stops him in his tracks, and Chesterfield spring forward now with Mandeville. Mandeville on to King down that right-hand side. It comes his cross. It bounces into the 6-yard box, and Ajayi has to uncomfortably knee it behind for a 7th Chesterfield corner.
Yeah, that's another corner, Rob. They're not frightened to knock balls in, do they? Every opportunity, they just deliver into the box, and they're hoping they get men arriving there.
Short from King, back to Oldacre. Diangana just got a touch on that, and it's picked up by Rogic, and Albion trying to flood green and yellow shirts forward, but that's a poor pass from Rogic looking for Grant, and Grimes with the covering interception back to his keeper.
Terrible ball from Rogic. Rob, Albion had a great opportunity to get forward there with numbers. He's just giving it away.
Williams.
It's a good game though, isn't it?
It is.
The
Absorbing cup tight. Tremendous. King into Mandeville. Midway inside the Albion half. Back to Jeff King. Short pass from Mandeville onto Oldacre, and back out wide to King again. Now Mandeville taking on, pulling it back. Dobra! 2-2. Armando Dobra, Chesterfield's most influential player, brings the National League side level for a 2nd time in this FA Cup tie. A simple right-footed finish from the Albanian, high pass Button, and it's game on again. Chesterfield 2, West Bromwich Albion 2.
You said it, they've won possession on that, works on that right-hand side. All they do, they knock that ball into the box, and they know somebody will be getting on the end of it. And like the lad we've mentioned earlier, Dobra, who's a real handful, he's had the easiest of chances just to slot it home there, no challenge or nothing. Knocked Albion back once again.
So keeps his record of scoring in every round of the FA Cup for Chesterfield. The 4th qualifying round, the 1st round proper, the 2nd round proper, and now in the 3rd round. 9 minutes to half-time. Albion have twice been in front here through Thomas Asante and Grant, but they've been pegged back twice to 2-2.
Yeah, it hasn't been the best of defending, Rob, to be fair. But it's a good game to watch, I'll tell you that.
What a cup tie. The Chesterfield fans taunting the Albion supporters with championship, you're having a laugh. As Diangana tries to spring his way clear of Dobra on the near side, it's going to be a Chesterfield throw.
Dobra, unbelievable. He's just talking, he's the wide man. He's just got back defending and just took the ball off Diangana there. The fitness of the lad. Whether he can keep that up, I don't know.
Quigley beats Kelly in the air. Here's Ajayi. Square to Gardner-Hickman. Gardner-Hickman goes back to David Button. Rolled out to Ashworth. Hull 0, Fulham 1. Kazawa with the Fulham goal. High up towards Thomas Asante. 2-2 at Chesterfield against West Bromwich Albion in the FA Cup on BBC Radio WM. And we've still got 8 minutes until half-time. Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2. Jayden Bogle with the 2nd goal for the Blades there at the Den. Grimes just outside his own penalty area for Chesterfield. Back to Fitzsimons, the goalkeeper. Long right-footed ball down the middle, looking for Quigley, but it bounces beyond him and Ajayi and through to Button. Test of Albion's resilience and character again now, Bomber, isn't it?
Without a doubt, Rob, because I keep saying it and repeating myself, I know, but the closing down of Chesterfield is terrific, honestly. They're not allowing Albion to settle on the ball or, you know, anybody to do what they want. Look, and lost it, look at that again, Rob.
Here's Oldacre for Chesterfield. Thought about a shot. Feeds Mandeville instead down the right. Here comes his cross. Quigley is the target. Headed out eventually by Reach for Albion. Heading duel involving Rogic and Jones, which Rogic wins. And Gardner-Hickman trying to slip away from Dobra on this near side. He's being held up by the 21-year-old Albanian, though. Back to Livermore. Now Button under pressure from Quigley. It's a bag of nerves again, but he's just about worked it away, hasn't he?
You keep talking about Rob there. He just takes that extra touch. He allows the people to close in down, Button, and all of a sudden your heart's in your mouth.
Bournemouth 1, Burnley 2 is another FA Cup latest. Here we've had 4 goals in this first half, shared by the two sides on BBC Radio WM, 95.6 FM, DAB Digital Radio, Freeview Channel 722, and BBC Sounds today. Sam Field's got an FA Cup goal for Queen's Park Rangers today, the former baggy at Fleetwood up there on the Fylde coast. Fleetwood 0, QPR 1, Sam Field. Here's Martin Kelly for Albion. Long ball through the middle, looking for Reach, who goes down at the challenge with Williams, and Reach was leading on Tyrone Williams. Chesterfield free kick.
Yeah, Reach has made a good diagonal run, which he wanted to, but he's pushed the defender in the back, Rob, and referee spotted it straight away.
Well, Forest Green Rovers against Birmingham City, off due to a waterlogged pitch at lunchtime. We've got Liverpool against Wolves from 8 o'clock to come, and then tomorrow another FA Cup third round double bill of Stockport County against Walsall, followed by Aston Villa against Stevenage. Here it's Chesterfield 2, West Bromwich Albion 2. 5 minutes to go, the half-time. David Button collects out on the left-hand side of his penalty area. The Albion fans a little bit quiet. Chesterfield counterparts at full throttle, or they were until a few seconds ago, but everybody trying to have a breather, because it's been such an incredible cup tie so far, Bomber, hasn't it? And here comes Chesterfield again.
We've got to be worried, Rob.
Dobra onto Quigley, no offside. Quigley, good save by Button. It's come out to Dobra again, top of the net. 3-2 Chesterfield. Dobra and the double, and Albion have gone from 2-1 up to 3-2 down with 4 minutes to go before half-time. Quigley got in behind the Albion defence. His shot was only parried by David Button, and Dobra fired the rebound high to the roof of the West Bromwich Albion net, and what a turnaround. National League Chesterfield, League Championship West Bromwich Albion by 3 goals to 2.
Yeah, I mean, Albion is staggered. I thought, to be fair, I thought it was offside initially, but the linesman hasn't given it, and they took advantage of it again. And Albion don't know what's hit them. You look around at the team and they're all staggered. They've got, I said, you've got to match this Chesterfield side, haven't you? Because they're working the shots off very physically. You've got to match them, and they're winning too many battles at the moment.
Incredible game, incredible game. Chesterfield 3, Albion 2. And Armando Dobra has 5 FA Cup goals now for Chesterfield in all 4 rounds as it stands at the moment that they've played in this competition this season.
But Rob, if you give somebody like him the space that Albion are giving him, he's bound to hurt you.
Yeah.
Somebody has got close to him.
Burnley 3-1 up now. Zarori with that goal. Thomas Asante with the cross. Headed behind for a corner to Albion. Gives them a bit of respite at the other end of the field for a change, because they haven't had much of that recently.
Albion attack at the moment, yes, isn't it? On this right-hand side, but they have got an opportunity to to deliver a decent ball from that left-hand side, and somebody get on the end of it there. Can Albion's big lads do anything?
Chesterfield fans nearest the Albion supporters, of course, on their feet, taunting their opponents with fingers on lips and various other gestures. It's going to be a corner, an in-swinger from the far side for Albion. It goes towards the far post, and Fitzsimons wasn't sure, but there was too much pace on it, and Rogic arriving couldn't convert, behind for a goal kick.
Yeah,
Chesterfield. 2 to go to half-time. Albion trail 3-2.
There's that area, Rob, I talk about every game. You know, the ball's it's from the wing, and nobody's at the back stick, nobody's at the back post for that ball that comes through everybody. And there was a chance. If somebody, you know, just did it every week, you'd get yourself a few goals.
Fitzsimons with the goal kick then for Chesterfield. Carlos Corberán, I would suggest, has got a lot of talking to do at half-time, Bomber, hasn't he?
Definitely, he's got to sort one or two things out, Rob, and it's whether he wants to make, you know, any changes, one or two changes to firm Albion up, because...
Well, he wouldn't want to use any of his regular championship starters probably, but he might have to in this circumstance.
That's right, if he's looking in danger of...
Yeah.
I mean, he'll give him the start of the second half, obviously, but he'll be wanting to make change if it stays at this result at the moment.
Here's Ashworth. What an experience this is for a 20-year-old lad who's not played much senior football for Albion, Bomber.
Yeah, he'll never played in the game with this fierce and this pace about it.
No.
Never.
Here comes Gardner Hickman, but stopped in his tracks by the challenge of Jones. Jones into Quigley. Now back to Akinola, edge of the centre circle for Chesterfield. It goes out wide to the right-hand side, and Mandeville again. Quigley waits for the cross in the middle. King's available on the overlap. Here is King, pulled back to Akinola near the point of the 6-yard box, but it was reached the last line of Albion's defence, not for the first time in this first half, that's able to clear.
Yeah, and what he's saying, it desperate defending from Albion. Just rely on anybody just to get a clearance.
Here's the man of the match so far, Dobra, for Chesterfield on this left-hand side, teasing Gardner Hickman. Gardner Hickman holds him up, but Dobra still in possession, has won a throw, virtually on the corner flag. Bit of an angry reaction between Gardner Hickman and Dobra, who gives him an extra shove. Yeah,
referee sprinted over to try and sort it out there. Obviously, Gardner Hickman, he won't be happy, Rob, because his
man scored 2 goals.
That's right, yeah, and he's... You know, it's not going the best for him at the moment.
2 added minutes, I think, came up on the fourth officials board there, which we're into now. Chesterfield 3, Albion 2 on BBC Radio WM and BBC Sounds today with Rob Gurney and Tony Bomber Brown. 1968 FA Cup winner with West Bromwich Albion, who at the moment are going out of the FA Cup, the hands of a National League side, but plenty of time for that to change during the second half. David Button, the Albion goalkeeper, midway inside his own half, rolls it square to Shemi Ajayi, out to Zach Ashworth, moves forward towards the halfway line. Rogic's header on, but straight to a blue shirt, and Clements lifts it forward. Ajayi gets in front of Quigley, but that's a curious ball, forcing Gardner Hickman back, and Button's clearance is more up than away, really. And it'll be one in the air by Jones. Quigley and Kelly challenging, and Ajayi with the clearance onto the chest of Brandon Thomas Asante, who, after his goal in the first couple of minutes, has been very quiet. But here comes Reach onto Grant. Grant into the penalty area, checks back on his right foot. It's the usual trick from Carl Grant. He'd come out to Ashworth, who has a go from distance, but that's wide of the left-hand post for a goal kick to Chesterfield. Yeah, and it's a rare attack from Albion on that left-hand side. Carlon Grant once again getting the ball just outside the box. He loves to just cut in on his right foot and just have a go there, but it got a block. What an incredible 45 minutes this has been, Bomber, hasn't it?
Yeah, and Quigley's done well for them. He has. Rob, for Chesterfield up front, the front lad, he's held the ball up when he's had to, and he's been causing problems to Albion's back too.
Referee Rebecca Welch looking at her watch as Fitzsimons clears, and there's the half-time whistle, and 3 sides of the Technique Stadium rise to hail the players in blue and white. The Albion end stunned by what they've seen. They've twice been in front through Brandon Thomas Asante after Livermore and Grant set him up in the first 90 seconds. And then Carlin Grant from Reach's pass on 16 minutes. His shot was half stopped, but ended up bouncing into the net. But Chesterfield roared back, equalised first of all on 7 minutes from King's Cross. Williams got the last touch, Tyrone Williams, to equalise. And then they equalised again 10 minutes from half-time. Mandeville's cross from the right. Armando Dobra, who has unquestionably been the biggest thorn in Albion's flesh so far, with a finish high into the net, who then repeated the dose 4 minutes from half-time after Joe Quigley's shot was only parried by David Button. We need a bit of a breather, Bomber, don't we? Half-time, Chesterfield 3, Albion 2. What an incredible cup tie it's been so far.
Absolutely, and you know, Albion was pushed to the limit in this first half by this Chesterfield side. I think Albion's back forward have, you know, it's been torrid for them, hasn't it? You know, they've looked vulnerable quite a lot of times. Like I say, they've let 3 goals in. But, well, as I say, whether Albion manager will make changes at half-time to try and get back into this game early in the second half, Rob, instead of leaving it late, we'll have to wait and see. But, you know, the way things are, Chesterfield will be delighted with this performance.
This is why the FA Cup is still the world's greatest knockout cup competition. Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 2 at half-time.
Ferocious stuff, absolutely ferocious stuff. A rip-roaring cup tie, and it has to be said, any score still possible. This game could go anyway, yes? Do not go anywhere.
WM Sports.
And there's been lots of goals flying around in the FA Cup this afternoon. We'll start with the results from the lunchtime kickoffs. Obviously, Forest Green Rovers against Blues disappointingly was called off due to a waterlogged pitch. That should have been our first live game of the day. But these are the results. Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 2. Gillingham 0, Leicester City 1. Preston 3, Huddersfield 1. Reading 2, Watford 0. And Tottenham 1, Portsmouth 0. Right, into our 3 o'clock kickoffs. They're still playing at the Vitality Stadium, where it's Bournemouth 1, Burnley 3. Half-time, Blackpool 1, Forest 0. Boreham Wood 0, Accrington Stanley 1. Chesterfield 3, Albion 2. Fleetwood 1, QPR 1. Hull City 0, Fulham 1. Ipswich 1, Rotherham 0. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2. And the only cup tie so far without a goal, half-time at the New Meadow, it's Shrewsbury 0, Sunderland 0. You're listening to BBC Radio WM Sport, and during the half-time interval, we'll look ahead to our other cup ties. We've got Wolves at Liverpool this evening, and then tomorrow we've got those games involving Walsall and Villa.
On BBC iPlayer. For this task, you're going to create and manufacture bao buns.
We have dough, 20 kilos.
My biggest concern is the fact that maybe we've undersold ourselves.
The negotiation came to £9.
That's a lot of dough.
The Apprentice.
You're more focused on revenue rather than profit. You're fired.
Watch on BBC iPlayer.
So it's BBC Radio WM Sport live on 95.6 FM, DAB digital radio, Freeview channel 722 on your TV, and also on the BBC Sounds app. So you are able to listen to our commentaries throughout the weekend, this weekend in the FA Cup on your mobile phone as well, or if you shout at your smart speaker. So the Baggies 3-2 down at Chesterfield at half-time. Incredible first 45 minutes, and we'll be bringing you the second half, of course, live and uninterrupted with Rob Gurney and Tony Bomber Brown. And the Blues game called off at lunchtime, so as soon as we get a date for that, a rearranged date, obviously we'll let you know when it is and we'll bring it to you live. So our second FA Cup tie of the day is an all-Premier League affair as 4 times winners Wolves go to Anfield to face the current holders, Liverpool, who've lifted the cup on 8 occasions. Kick-off at Anfield is 8 o'clock. We'll have the build-up from 7:30. Now, Julian Lopetegui isn't very happy that Liverpool haven't had a game since Monday, while Wolves had to play on Wednesday, and he thinks that's not fair, but he said it's out of their control.
No, this is we have talked about this. It's not our responsibility. We have to play when they talk us. Of course, I have comment that is sometimes because it's different in the league. You have played sometimes with 1 day more, 1 day less. In the end, you are going to be balanced. But in the cup, you don't have second chance. So I think that it's not balanced, but it's not our responsibility, and our responsibility is to able tomorrow to have a good answer, knowing that of course this is the real situation.
And obviously tomorrow's game, as you said, is in the cup. Your first taste of FA Cup football. How much are you looking forward to it?
No, we have a big illusion for this cup. In the same way, we are thinking and preparing with in the best way, knowing that we have played a very hard match 2 days ago. This is true. So now for today we maybe we can work normal because a lot of players they have to recuperate yet. But tomorrow we are going to be ready to try to beat a fantastic team as is Liverpool, one of the best, I repeat, team of the world, with an incredible squad, with a fantastic coach. So it's going to be a good illusion and for us, a good challenge for us.
Yeah, so cup tie tonight for Wolves at Liverpool, and then another one next Wednesday when they go to Forest for a place in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Of course, we'll have that live as well. Both games live on BBC Radio WM Sport. So our coverage this evening will start at 7:30. Full match commentary from 8. And then, as Rob mentioned earlier, a double bill of FA Cup football tomorrow as well, where Rob will be off to Edgeley Park with the Saddlers as they face Stockport. Now, it's an all League Two affair, and so it'll be their third meeting this season. And Walsall yet to win one at the moment. They drew at Edgeley Park in League Two in October, but were beaten in the return fixture at Bescott just a few days ago. Although Saddlers boss Michael Flint says that result has now well and truly been put to bed.
No, it's not a sore one. We put that right with 3 points against a very good Mansfield team. You know, we've played them twice. We haven't turned up twice, and I'm hoping third time lucky. You know, we've drawn one, lost one. I think it's only fair, and then we win one. So yeah, look, they're a good team. They're again another team who are spending money. You know, just signed Alafay from Millwall, who's a very good player, good talent, and they mean business. You know, their whole setup is, well, they're geared up for the Championship, really.
So that's Michael Flynn. So Walsall at Stockport tomorrow afternoon from 2. And then at 4:30, the only one of our teams with a home tie in the third round are Aston Villa. And they'll be hosting Stevenage, who are currently second in League Two. Now, the FA Cup third round arrives in the week when the transfer window is opened, of course. A factor that can certainly impact team selections. And Villa boss Unai Emery finds himself assessing the squad he inherited only a few weeks ago.
I am happy with the players, but I know, for example, some players, they know the possibility to leave, like, for example, Archer can go loan and play more than he's playing here, and then I want to add some players to increase our level in the team.
Yes, but the cup game at the weekend is different. For, you know, obviously it's a lower division team. Might you rest players for that?
My idea is in the FA Cup to do good performance as well, and to try to do something in this way. And I am going to use the best players we have, and as well thinking how we can manage in the squad the players playing matches like this way, this week, playing 3 matches until Sunday.
So Villa against Stevenage tomorrow afternoon, and before that, Stockport against Walsall. We've got Wolves to come at 8 o'clock this evening against Liverpool, and also this evening at 5:30, a special programme for you, because being as it's FA Cup third round weekend, it's 6 years ago today that Stourbridge took on Wickham in the FA Cup third round, one of the greatest days in their histories. And we'll hear Gary Hackett, the former Glass Boys boss, reliving the whole of that cup run between 5:30 and 6 this evening on BBC Radio WM Sport. Coming up next then, the second half from Derbyshire, third in the National League, Chesterfield against West Bromwich Albion, 9th in the Championship. and it's been a humdinger so far.
Here's Grant latching onto Livermore's crossfield pass, gets to the byline, clips it back.
What a goal!
What a goal! And
again.
what a start inside 90 seconds. First time roof of the net left-footed from Brandon Thomas Asante, and that's quieted the home crowd. Livermore's crossfield pass, Grant with the pullback, and Thomas Asante, no mistake. 90 seconds gone, and it's Chesterfield 0, Albion 1. Corner taken short, it's King, the right back, on the point of the penalty area, onto his left foot. It comes the cross on the far post, it's an equaliser. It's Joe Quigley who's equalised for Chesterfield. 7 minutes in, 1-1. I think it's Quigley, or was it Grimes, that got the touch round the back. The fans all rose as one in front of me as the cross came in from King. But I can tell you that Chesterfield have got level, and that's changed the atmosphere well and truly. Here's Livermore, diagonal pass into midfield and Rogic. Chesterfield tried to break it up. Ashford won the header. Reach now onto Grant. There's no offside. It's Grant into the area. Half stopped by the keeper, but it's in. Albion back in front. Carlin Grant returns to the side with a goal, and Albion regain the lead. 16 minutes into this game. Lovely pass out of the left-hand side for Adam Reach. Picks out Carlin Grant. Chesterfield defenders were looking towards the assistant referee. There was no flag. Grant ran on into the penalty area. His shot was half stopped by the goalkeeper, but it ended up in the back of the Chesterfield net. And Albion in the lead again. Chesterfield 1, Albion 2. Short pass from Mandeville onto Oldacre, and back out wide to King again. Now Mandeville taking on, pulling it back, Dobra, 2-2. Armando Dobra, Chesterfield's most influential player, brings the National League side level for a second time in this FA Cup tie. A simple right-footed finish from the Albanian, high pass button, and it's game on again. Chesterfield 2, West Bromwich Albion 2. And here comes Chesterfield again.
They've got to be worried, Rob.
Dobra onto Quigley, no offside. Quigley, good save by Button. It's come out to Dobra again. Top of the net, 3-2 Chesterfield. Dobra and the double. And Albion have gone from 2-1 up to 3-2 down.
It's an FA Cup classic so far. Can the Baggies find their way back into this game? Will it be a huge surprise if there weren't more twists and turns and more goals after what we witnessed in the first 45 minutes? The teams will be back out there shortly, so let's return now and rejoin our commentary team of the Baggies FA Cup winner Tony Brown and Rob Gurney.
Oh, we've still just about got our breath back there, Bob, haven't we? We've got to raise ourselves again for the second half, but if it's anything like that, it's going to be an absolute humdinger again, isn't it? The big question is, as you just said to me off air, is whether Chesterfield can keep this up for the whole 90 minutes. You know, the pace and the tempo and the, you know, being in Albion's faces all the time that they've managed so far.
Yeah, that is the question that you're asking them, you know, because they've been absolutely superb, to be fair. Give them credit. The home side have got at Albion, they've hounded them, they've not let them sit on the ball, they've not let them play, and they've got the goals, but Albion haven't helped themselves. I think they've been poor at the back, Rob, you know, and especially early on, the first 5-10 minutes, they were all right in midfield, but they've lost that midfield battle now, and it's whether the manager makes any changes at half-time, whether he wants to make changes now and not wait until the game is late on, you know, to make changes. It'll be interesting to see what he does. But if it continues in this vein, there's a few more goals to be seen.
Oh, you talk about defensively. I mean, Martin Kelly and Shemi Ajayi have barely played any football for months, and let's be honest, it showed, hasn't it? During
well, they haven't played together,
half.
have they?
No.
That is the thing, you know, they haven't got a partnership.
But
there
individually, they haven't played for months either.
And individually, they both looked as though they've been struggling a little bit. So we'll have to see if they can do any better in the second half, or whether he makes changes in certain positions. But Chesterfield, if they play the way they have done in this first half, they're going to cause more problems, because they're full of energy. Absolutely, I think Albion have got to up the pace a little bit. The tempo of their own game, you know, not the ball quicker, you know, not try, you know, early pace, slow pace. Get the ball pinging about early and get it up to your front men. but they haven't got a front man, and to be fair, an out-and-out front man, because I don't know where Roddick is playing, to be honest.
Well, I was going to come to him, Tom Rogic. I mean, unfortunately, again, which has been the case more often than not during his Albion career, he's been on the fringes of the game. He hasn't been able to influence it at all. He, in the nicest possible way, struggles to get forward at times as well, doesn't he? In terms of, you know, not being able to move through the gears very effectively.
Sometimes, and now that he looks as the pace has been too much for him, hasn't he? And he's, you know, quite a few times he's finished up as the front man, and Thomas Asante's been dropping back. It should be the other way round, really, but we'll have to wait and see whether he makes any changes.
Well, Akinola and Oldacre and Jones behind them, they've had the measure in midfield, certainly, of Livermore and Reach, who started the game pretty well, as we say, Rogic, but they've been overrun at times in the last sort of 15-20 minutes of that
you're
first
spot
half,
on. I mean, we said in the first half, Livermore had a great start. He was on the ball, he was knocking it in the... But as the game's progressed in that first half, he's kind of gone out of it. He's gone a little bit missing. Whether that's because of the pace of it, and he hasn't played for a long time, has he?
No.
So you know, that might be the reason.
Well, Chesterfield have re-emerged in their blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks. Albion shortly to rejoin them. The Baggies will be playing towards their 1,992 fans officially, in a crowd of 9,819 here at the Technique Stadium, and those 2,000 people will be doing their very best to, well, in the first place, get themselves an equaliser.
Well, that's right. I'd love to be in a fly on the Albion wall at half-time in the dressing room. Honestly, I really wouldn't. See how the manager reacts to that, you know, that first half, the way it's gone. You know, they've done it, they've threw it away, haven't they, to be honest, Rob?
Well, they're in the lead twice, as we heard.
That's right.
Thomas Asante and Grant, now they're 3-2 behind, with Dobra scoring twice.
And they're not playing the championship side. You've got to remember that as well. They're playing a non-league side.
But Dobra looks like, well, again, you can't judge him on 45 minutes of football, but he looks like he could play at a far higher level than the National League, doesn't he?
You know what he is? He's a menace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a little menace. He's a darting little player. He's always into you, and he doesn't let you play, and he takes you on, and he's into the box. He's a little dynamo, to be honest.
Well, it doesn't look like Carlos Corbrand has made any change. In fact, he has. Jason Malumbi has come on for Zach Ashworth. That's the change that has been made. And Adam Reach has gone to left back.
Left back, yeah.
So Ashworth taken out of the firing line. As you say, it was some experience for him. The intensity of this cup tie, Bomber, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said, you know, he's had a torrid time in that first half, and the manager, you know, I think he's doing him a favour, to be honest, because he looked a little bit down when he trooped off.
Yeah. So Albion underway again, 3-2 behind here at Chesterfield in the third round of the FA Cup on BBC Radio WM, in the green and yellow shirts, green shorts and yellow socks. Long crossfield pass, which is easily defended by King, the Chesterfield right back. Nods it back to his goalkeeper Ross Fitzsimons, former Notts County and Weymouth keeper. Made his move here to North Derbyshire last summer. Clears all in orange from left to right, but Quigley is offside. So let's remind you of the two teams then. David Button in goal for Albion, Taylor Gardner-Hickman, Martin Kelly, Shemi Ajayi and Adam Reach at the back now, with Jake Livermore and Jason Malumbi in midfield. And then it's Grady Diangana, Tom Rogic and Carlin Grant behind Brandon Thomas Asante. Here comes Ajayi, trying to stride his way out of defence. First time he's played since August, Ajayi, after an ankle operation and then a dislocated shoulder. Feeds Reach on this left-hand side, just inside the Chesterfield half, but Reach tentative, wants to go back sideways rather than forwards, Bomber.
Because Grant, I'll tell you, made a great run for him, Rob, and he was there to put him in, and he just turned back and knocked it backwards. You've got to look forward. That's the way you score your goals. Get the ball forward quickly.
Livermore to Gardner-Hickman on halfway for Albion.
But Malumbi, Rob, has been put on to give that energy, hasn't he, to the midfield. because it was lacking in that first half.
Played very well in the Championship recently.
Well, the last few games he's played, he's been very good.
Reach tackled by King, and Chesterfield are able to motor forward with Akinola. Comes in field past Brandon Thomas Asante, and then looks as though Livermore has just shoved him over, and the referee Rebecca Welsh waited a long time and then finally decided it will be a Chesterfield free kick in the centre of the Albion half.
I don't think she didn't want to give it initially, did she? She's changed her mind after a spell of thinking about it. It's something for Albion to cope with now, because you know that where the ball's going, it's going in that box to the big lads, Chesterfield lads, who, especially the back lads who are going up there.
Two managers, Paul Cook and Carlos Corbrand, like cuckoos in a clock. One of them comes out to the edge of the technical area where the other one retreats, and then vice versa. They're both out virtually on the pitch now, kicking every ball for their team. As King clips the free kick forward, missed by Rogic. Here's Akinola, high over the bar for a goal kick to Albion, but not for the first time. Rogic was on his heels rather than his toes there, and Akinola was nearly in.
He got caught out. Rod wasn't watching. Little run, and that's all it was. A little run behind him, and he didn't see it until late, and then he tried to control it, couldn't. Let off for Albion, that, you know.
Bournemouth 2, Burnley 3 now. Solanke with the second Bournemouth goal. Kelly labouring in possession. Dobra is there, and it's going to be a free kick to Albion for Dobra's foul on Martin Kelly. The Chesterfield side is Ross Fitzsimons in goal, Jeff King, Tyrone Williams, Jamie Grimes and Bailey Clements at the back. Mike Jones, the holding midfielder, then Liam Mandeville, Tim Akinola, Darren Oldacre and two-goal Armando Dobra behind Joe Quigley. David Button to take this Albion free kick to the right of his penalty area, away in the distance over on the right-hand side of the Technique Stadium, which replaced their old home Saltergate, Chesterfield. And mentioned in the first half when they got to the semi-finals of 1997 in the FA Cup before eventually losing to Middlesbrough, playing at Saltergate back then. As Quigley holds it up in the presence of Kelly. Referee says that was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and waves play on. Malumbi getting involved in midfield with
the tackling, Rob.
A challenge there on Jones, which wasn't for the faint-hearted, was it, Robert?
Oh, I tell you what, some of the tackling's fierce at the moment. This is a proper good play.
It is. Here's a Jai just outside his own 18-yard box, back to Button, and he floats it out to Gardner-Hickman out on the right-hand side, moves forward towards the halfway line, squares it for Malumbi. Grant, Malumbi again onto Livermore. Ajayi's got reach available on this left-hand side, but he was just hassled out of his stride by Mandeville and concedes a throw. Semi Ajayi.
He looks like somebody who hasn't played for a while, Rob, doesn't he? Semi Ajayi at the moment. Still got that pace of his, but his just touch on the ball now and again isn't the best. That happens when you haven't played for quite a while. You've not played this type of football.
Tony Bomber Brown, 1968 FA Cup winner with West Bromwich Albion, alongside myself, Rob Gurney, watching Chesterfield leading Albion by 3-2 on BBC Radio WM, available all over the world this weekend in the FA Cup. 95.6 FM, DAB digital radio, Freeview channel 722 and on BBC Sounds. Here's Martin Kelly coming out of defence for Albion. Square to the right, and Gardner-Hickman into the middle of the Albion half, and Malumbi. Forward to Grant. And back to Livermore. Reach has taken up a good position on this left-hand side, but Livermore gave Grant man and ball there. Mandeville challenged him, and then it's a foul on Oldacre near the halfway line. Chesterfield free kick.
Yeah, they just won't let Albion settle on the wall, Rob, will they? I think straight away as an Albion player, yellow shirt gets it, there's somebody at them.
But the big question remains, as we said just now, whether they can keep up this, tempo and intensity for the remainder of the half, or whether Albion's supposed superior class will tell. In comes across on the left, though, from Chesterfield. Ajayi slides into clear, headed further on by Malumbi. Diangana back to Gardner-Hickman. The ball disappears into touch for A Chesterfield throw. Paul Cook will be absolutely thrilled with the way his players have approached this, taking a sip of a coffee again. The Chesterfield manager.
He's set them up well, though, Rob, hasn't he? You can see he's set them up well. They're well organised, and that's what you know about these teams. We've seen it in the lower divisions.
3-2 Chesterfield, which was the situation at half-time. Mandeville's back heel, but a little bit casual. And Albion trying to counter with Rogic, but again Rogic has been stopped in his tracks by Oldacre, who's backed up by Dobra over on the far side. Dobra fancying a run at Gardner-Hickman. He's scored twice already, Armando Dobra, in this game. Gardner-Hickman back to Button, clears, headed back into the Albion half by Grimes, up to big Irishman Quigley, but then Kelly turns on it for Albion, and knocked back to Button. Reach now operating at left back with Zach Ashworth being substituted at half-time. Ajayi, 25 yards from his own goal. See very much movement upfield, so in the end has to go square to Livermore. Gardner-Hickman out on the right-hand side. Dean Garner, who's been very quiet for the most part today again. Livermore, back from Dean Garner. Livermore, floated diagonal ball for Reach down in front of us, and that's a terrible touch from Reach. Gives it straight to the other number 20, King, who can set Chesterfield moving forward potentially again, and rolls it square for Jones. Now Grimes out to the left, and Clements. Jones back to Grimes again. Williams. The Olays have started from the Chesterfield fans, which is a bit early, 9 minutes into the second half. They are leading.
They're having a good spell though, Rob. They're making Albion run around, aren't they? Trying to chasing the ball. Albion just can't get a touch of it at the moment.
Well, one or two of the big guns are being wheeled out, if you like. Daryl DK certainly is getting stripped and ready. Carlos Corberán would necessarily have wanted to play DK today, but Darragh O'Shea is also stripped and ready, and that'll be for either Kelly or Ajayi, obviously, won't it?
Without a doubt.
Oh, here comes...
It'll be interesting whether he plays two up front, Asante and DK.
The changes. Rogic is being withdrawn. That's no great surprise, I have to say. So DK for Rogic is one change, because it's National League boards. The numbers helpfully are only on one side, so it's hard to initially spot. It's Ajayi, I can see, he's turned it. Oh no, Kelly actually, 16, one in front of the 6. It's going to be Kelly to come off and O'Shea to come on, which again is a sensible move, isn't it, from Corberán?
That's right. He's bringing his big guns on, as you might say. Try and get something out of this game now. He's having to walk that long walk round from that far side as well, Kelly. And he's got to walk past the Albion supporters.
Yeah, so Brighton have got a third goal now. Alexis McAllister, World Cup winner with Argentina, has got that goal. So it is more of a 2 now up front. Southend have gone 2-0 up against Solihull Moors in the National League. It is more of a 2 now with DK and Thomas Asante, Bomber, isn't it?
That's what I was wondering, whether he would, you know, he usually just has a 1-up, doesn't he? But he's gone a double spearhead up front, because he's got to get the next goal, Rob. That is the thing.
3-2 Albion trail on BBC Radio WM in the third round of the FA Cup. Twice in front if you're joining us late through Brandon Thomas Asante and Carlin Grant, but Chesterfield went from 2-1 down to 3-2 up. Armando Dobra with 2 of their 3 goals. Tyrone Williams, once of Solihull Moors, with the first equaliser. Gardner-Hickman with a spearing pass to this left-hand side, and Reach with a low ball in and sliding it at the front post with DK. The defender got in front of him behind for an Albion corner.
That was unlucky, Rob. It was a great ball in from Adam Reach on this left-hand side, right in front of us, and DK had made a brilliant run. He just little shifted the shoulder there, went the other way to the near post, but the defender's got there just before him. Now can he get something from this set piece?
4th Albion corner of the cup tie. Gardner-Hickman to swing it in from the near side. Deep towards the far post, and it's beyond everybody.
It's gone in that area again, Rob.
Yeah.
I keep talking about it. The back post. Somebody just stay beyond the back post, and they'll get a ball there. They'll get a goal. Chesterfield fans taunting their Albion counterparts. Bournemouth 2, Burnley 4 now in the FA Cup. Rory with his second goal for Burnley. Fitzsimons with the goal kick. Benson actually got his second goal there for Burnley, 4-2. Fitzsimons with the goal kick. One in the air by O'Shea. Adam Reach trying to judge the bounce on the near side, which he does. Finds Carlin Grant. Apart from his goal, Grant's been very quiet, hasn't he, today, Bomber? Yeah, he's trying to roam to try and get involved in the game more, Rob, now. Whether he's been told that, I don't know. But what he does, he just leaves room for Adam Reach to come into.
Bit of a hit and hope ball that was from Brandon Thomas Asante, and in the end, Bailey Clements has got the better of Grady Diangana. It's going to be a Chesterfield throw. I don't want to labour negatives necessarily, but Diangana hasn't imposed himself on this game at all, has he?
No, not
today?
at all. No, he hasn't got the better of the full-back once, Rob. But, I must say as well, the tempo has gone down.
It has, yeah.
From that first half. You knew they couldn't keep that up.
National League, and we're taking the mick. I'll clean that chant up for you. That's what the Chesterfield fans are singing at the moment. Albion need to raise their game several notches to, in the first place, get an equaliser, never mind thinking about winning the game.
Yeah, they've got to get that next goal, Rob. Got to get that next goal.
Albion throw down in front of us, which Reach takes back to Grant. O'Shea floated forward, right-footed, looking for DK. The number 12 Williams goes with him, and DK's miscontrolled that.
Oh,
DK convinced it was a corner, and it was, but given us a goal kick.
No, it wasn't. It was a corner.
No, it was.
Sorry, it was right in front of us.
Yeah.
So DK's not happy about it. He's demonstrated with the referee, but
he knocked it against Williams' shins, didn't he? It bounced behind. Grimes, long clearance though for Chesterfield. Ajay across, finds Gardner Hickman. Ajay turns and funnels it back to Button, who's nearly miscontrolled it in the presence of Quigley, but got away with it. O'Shea,
so lucky, Rob.
Spreads it to the right-hand side, and Gardner Hickman comes in field. Square for Malumbi, a half-time substitute for Zach Ashworth. Here's O'Shea, that was introduced in place of Martin Kelly 10 minutes into the second half, along with DK for very disappointing Tom Rogic again. 3-2 Chesterfield lead. Albion on BBC Radio WM. Southend 3, Solihull Moors 0 in the National League. Given away by O'Shea. King over O'Shea's head. Akinola's got Quigley up with him. O'Shea wins the ball back. A lovely tackle actually, but it needed to be because he gave the ball away in the first place, Bomber, didn't
Exactly, yeah, but the home fans, they wanted a free kick, but no, it's a good time tackle. But here come Albion again. They're just coming forward a little more than they finished
raised
the first
tempo
half,
a little bit
yeah.
now, haven't they? Thomas Asante's ball in, looking for DK, but it's too high for him, and the goalkeeper picks up.
Yeah, just overhit it, didn't he? I'd like to see somebody else, a wide man, knocking them balls in, and Asante and DK going in for him as a twosome, putting more pressure on the defenders.
Well, Dobra's been a lot quieter this second half. He's lost out over on the far side. That's a wrestling match between DK and Grimes.
They're trying to manhandle him.
Albion wins win a free kick. Blackpool 2, Forest 0 now. Pervader with the second Blackpool goal. So Championship holding sway against Premier League there at the moment in the FA Cup. Here it's National League beating Championship with 62 minutes played. Chesterfield 3, Albion 2. But Albion have this free kick over on the far side, which Reach is going to bend in left-footed towards the edge of the Chesterfield penalty area. Can Albion find themselves an equaliser? Get us back to 3 each here, having twice led this cup tie, but now they're in arrears. Reach in towards O'Shea, coming round the back, quickly initially away, poked towards goal by a giant. Somehow it's blocked inside the 6-yard box and squirmed away, and King's clearance off Livermore for a Chesterfield throw.
It's bouncing loose, isn't it, inside the 6-yard box there, Robin. Ajayi's just tried to toe poke it in, and got a deflection. It's come to nothing, but that's a little bit more pressure from Albion. Got to have more of it.
King sticks the ball up his shirt.
I think DK's made a difference with his physical presence as well, Rob, since he come on.
Tries to slow the game down, King. Back in the old days, it would have been a foul throw, but you don't see them given these days.
You never see one, do you? I think they should be abolished, because you never see one.
Here's Reach on halfway. Malumbi. Back to Ajayi. Square for Gardner-Hickman. Back for Ajayi again. And Dobra buzzing around, so Ajayi has to be sure and does execute the pass out to Gardner-Hickman. Jed Wallace, another one of Corbrand's first choice championship players, is going to come on. Ajayi's gone down in a heap at the edge of the penalty area, and Quigley's shown a yellow card for following through on Shemi Ajayi there.
Yeah. And Wallace said, if there's anybody who's could change the game dramatically, I think it's this man.
Yeah.
The way he's been playing this season for Albion, he's been tremendous. He's been my man of match of the season.
Yeah, has been the man of the season so far. And unsurprisingly, it's Dean Garner. I'm afraid he goes off chin on chest. Hasn't made the most of his opportunity by any stretch of the imagination. I'm afraid,
we haven't seen him at all, except for the first few minutes. He tried his chances against the fullback, but after that, Rob, we haven't seen a lot of him at all.
No.
And he's got the long walk round the pitch as well.
He has. And he's taking his time about it as well. I do feel sorry for him, because there's a player in there, we're just not seeing it, are we, these days?
I don't think anybody comes off in any capacity. You feel a little bit sorry for them.
Fleetwood 2, QPR 1 now, the League One side in front against the Championship team. Promise Omachenwe with that goal. Easy for me to say. Here's King down in front of us, the Chesterfield right back, sends it long downfield. It'll be an Albion throw.
See this Rob tired, and this steps in, comes into the non-league side, you know, because they put so much effort into the game so far, didn't they?
25 minutes for Albion, say in the first place, to get an equaliser, and Livermore turned away from Akinola in the nick of time. Then had he been dispossessed, it would have been a Chesterfield attack. Reach with the cross, DK is the target, Grimes challenges, and Fitzsimons grabs off Thomas Asante's head.
Yeah, and once again the big centre half, Rob, number 5, has done exceptionally well. He's the one that's got to deal with DK, and he's trudging around at that far side. His head's a bit down. He looks a bit tired.
Now Jacko, the kit man, met Dean Garner halfway with a tracksuit top, and just Kushlu and Phillips, who were warming up in the corner, gave him like a consoling pat.
He's very dejected, isn't he? He's walking past us now.
Here's Akinola for Chesterfield, space down the left-hand side for Clements. Taylor Gardner-Hickman has been sucked in. It comes the cross. Chesterfield heads rise, but Carlin Grant's back there to defend. Terrible giveaway by Reach, and a challenge at the edge of the area. Rebecca Welch had a look and said, nothing doing. That was at the very worst, maybe a free kick for Chesterfield and borderline penalty, but she didn't see either.
I think she's let
Chesterfield's favour.
In this match, she's let a lot of things go.
The end of it all, it's going to be a throw to Chesterfield on this near side, who are preparing Ollie Banks, and another substitute. This near side, Brandon Horton, who's going to come on the next break in play. A couple of pairs of fresh legs for Chesterfield, who still lead Albion 3-2 here in the FA Cup, with 67 minutes on the watch at the Technique Stadium. And it's Akinola on the right-hand side for Chesterfield. He's got 2 Albion players for company, and he keeps the ball in the corner. It's going to be a Chesterfield throw.
There's the man I think they've missed big time.
Yakushlu.
He's been tremendous form of late, and he gives you that strength and that power in the middle of the park. Yeah, we haven't had that.
It's warming up, and Matt Phillips just down in front of us as well. It's Akinola for Chesterfield on the right. Cross ricochets back towards Mandeville. Now King picks it up. Ricochets off DK. King first to react. Back to Grimes. And he'll feed it out to Clements on the left-hand side. Into Dobra. Scorer twice for Chesterfield in the first half, but has barely been on the ball during the second half. It eventually deflected away off Thomas Asante for a Chesterfield throw near halfway.
Yeah, and Dobra will be desperate for an hat-trick this afternoon, won't he? He'll be trying. But as you say, Rob, you haven't seen him so far in the second half like we did in the first.
Grimes being hassled into passing it back by Thomas Asante, who almost charged down Fitzsimon's clearance. Reach goes up on the halfway line. Malumbi picks up the pieces in midfield. Wallace back to Gardner-Hickman. Reach waits this near touchline. Paul Cook yelling and waving his arms almost in Adam Reach's ear as he has the ball again on the near side. Grant making a burst. Plays it back to Livermore. Livermore steps over the ball. In comes his cross. Bounces off Williams. Hooked further away by Mandeville, and Livermore will settle for the Albion throw, which he takes himself into Grant. Grant's first touch a bit heavy, but he's on an opportunity to win it back, Carlin Grant. Here's Adam Reach. Reach with a low cross in, headed away at the near post by Chesterfield. But Malumbi flicks it to Grant. Back down this touchline for Dara O'Shea. Rolled square for Jason Malumbi again. Into Daryl DK with his back to goal. To Gardner-Hickman. Out wide to Wallace on the right-hand side. Up against Clements. In goes Wallace's cross. DK with a header, but he loops it into the Albion fans behind Fitzsimon's goal.
That's what Wallace can give you, Rob, isn't it? Just touch of the ball. First time, he whips it in. And if you go in these positions and you try and get the end of it, you'll get your goals. DK just got too much of his head onto it. He took it over the bar.
20 minutes left. Blackpool 3, Nottingham Forest 0 now. And CJ Hamilton with that goal for Blackpool, their third. And Chesterfield changes aren't ready to be made just yet. Quigley with a header on from Fitzsimon's goal kick. Mandeville involved. Wallace facing his own goal. Knocks it back to Gardner-Hickman. He goes long with a percentage ball looking for DK, but Grimes comes across and heads away for an Albion throw. Seems to be relishing the challenge now against Daryl DK, Jamie Grimes, doesn't he, Bomber?
Good battle, isn't it, between them two, Grimes and DK. Two big lads, physical, both battling away.
Well, Oldacre getting a standing ovation as he's one of the players being withdrawn by Paul Cook. Worked tirelessly as all his teammates have out there in blue shirts today.
Done well on that right-hand side, Rob.
And it's Ollie Banks that comes on as a like-for-like replacement in Chesterfield's midfield. And Brandon Horton is the other man to be introduced out of the left-hand side. Is it Clements that's gone off? Yeah. So change of midfielder and a change of left back for Chesterfield. But Albion still trailing 3-2 here with less than 20 minutes to go. That's been the score since 4 minutes from half-time. Yakushlu has come on as well for Albion in place of Jake Livermore, and that might be the potential game changer here, Bomber, mightn't it?
Hopefully, it had to come. If you want to get anything out of this game now, from Albion's point of view, bring your big guns on.
Here's Reach on this left-hand side. Grant. O'Shea into Yakushlu. Malumbi on the stretch, wouldn't quite sit down for DK. And Akinola I've been very impressed with as well for Chesterfield, on loan from Arsenal's academy.
Just giving the ball away now.
Well,
many
again,
times, aren't they? They're tiredness.
Mentally, they're tired as well as physically now, Bomber, aren't they?
Yeah, they've got the run of the ball there, though. They're driving forward.
Yeah, with King down the right-hand side. Back to Williams. Score of the first Chesterfield equaliser. There's a man down, it's Dobra over on the far side. Mr. Mitt was following the play, so might see what happened there, but Rebecca Welsh, the referee over there to make sure he's okay. Ipswich 2, Rotherham 1. Connor Chaplin with a penalty. The official attendance being announced, 9,819. Told you that at half-time, of which 1,992 are Albion supporters. Third in the National League. I know Notts County and Wrexham are ahead of them, but Chesterfield certainly have something going, don't they, Bomber?
Yeah,
on the evidence of what we've seen today.
Yeah, they look a decent side to me, Rob. They've got plenty of energy about them. The physical side, got goals. Yeah, they've done themselves proud this afternoon. Just see if Albion can get back at them. Made these changes, Albion, can they make them pay?
Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 2 on BBC Radio WM. Give Bomber and Daz Hale a call after the game. Book your call now if you want to. 08081 0099 56. Albion have been eliminated from the third round of the FA Cup each of the last 2 seasons. Haven't gone out at this stage in 3 consecutive seasons since the turn of the century, between 98-99 and 2000-2001, but time is their enemy now. 16 minutes plus added time away from, even with 11 changes, what would be a fairly ignominious exit at the first hurdle as far as they're concerned. The Baggies in the FA Cup this season.
Well, we just spoke about Yakushlu, but Akinola there straight away has put a little bit of time into him and sent, you know.
Well, he, along with Dobra, he's probably the other Chesterfield player that's really impressed me today, Akinola. Banks gets a header in midfield for Chesterfield. Played back to Horton. Controlled by Ajayi, though. Feeds it wide to the right-hand side, and Gardner Hickman up to Shemi Ajayi. He finds David Button long down the field, looking for either Thomas Asante or DK. Grimes, the Chesterfield skipper, heads away. Yakushlu finds O'Shea. Makes up some ground into the Chesterfield half and finds Thomas Asante, but that doesn't come off for him. He beats the pitch in frustration as it goes back to the Chesterfield keeper.
Can he? Asante just can't get into the game again. He's sitting down, just been on the fringes of it. Thought it might be better when DK gets alongside him. He just might make him a chance. Still might. That's what we're hoping for.
Reach struggles to judge the bounce on this near side. It's going to be a Chesterfield throw. We thought, after what, 1 minute 27 seconds, everything was going to be swimming today when Thomas Asante gave Albion the lead, but Chesterfield hit back for the first time to equalise. Grant put them, Albion 2-1 in front. Dobra twice made it 3-2 to Chesterfield. That's the way it stayed throughout this second half. Another change being made by Paul Cook with 14 minutes to go. Joe Quigley, who's worked really hard up front for them today, is coming off, and Kabongo Shimanga is going to come on for what remains. The recruit from Boreham Wood a couple of summers ago has scored 8 times for Chesterfield this season, including a couple of penalties. But some more fresh legs on with Shimanga up front, and looks as though he might have won a free kick there straight away. O'Shea was pulling his shirt, but the referee says play on. Mandeville, Akinola in space outside the area. Wallace coming back to defend. It doesn't quite run on for Dobra. Button picks up.
He's done well there, Wallace, getting back, Rob, so far back, because he's seen the danger out, because there was a free strike on there. But can Albion just make that one opportunity?
77 minutes on the watch on BBC Radio WM. Early ball in from Wallace, looking for DK, but Grimes in front of him to make the clearance. Now Jones, back to Horton. Long ball up towards Chimanga, but Albion regain possession out on that far side with Taylor Gardner-Hickman. Shemi Ajayi knocks square to Dara O'Shea. On to Adam Reach. That's a dreadful first touch, and that's ours. I'm shielding my head.
I'm going to let you head that one, Rob, before me.
Nearly comes down on top of our heads, but a throw to Albion. Yakushlu gave Grant 2 men in the ball there, and he was outnumbered. Jones spreads it wide to the left, and Horton up to Dobra. Dobra's got Horton available on the overlap. Ajayi gets across to him, and we'll see it presumably to safety. In fact, drives it against Brandon Horton. It's going to be an Albion throw.
Yeah. You seem, you know, we talk, I think down that right-hand side now that Jed's come on. I think that's the way we're going to get anything out of this game, Rob. Jed Wallace you've got to feed him. You've got to feed him out there because he's got great ability to put that ball across that danger area.
Now is Chimanga on the left-hand side. Side netting from Chimanga, and a deflection away for a Chesterfield corner. Albion sloppy possession in their own defensive third, and it nearly cost them.
Ajayi's done well, redeemed himself there. He's got the deflection. It's gone into the side netting, but once again it's a set piece.
Well, a fourth Chesterfield goal now you feel would kill the tie off.
Yeah, I would think so, Rob.
At 4-2, while it's still 3-2. Albion is still alive. King takes the throw, the corner rather. It's headed away by O'Shea. Played back to Mike Jones on the halfway line. Just scoops it forward. Best of defensive headers by O'Shea. Gardner-Hickman turns on it and hoists it downfield, looking for Wallace. Horton's there. King, the corner taker, out on the left-hand side momentarily. The right back for Chesterfield. Now push forward for Akinola. Akinola trying to get round his man, Gardner-Hickman, and Gardner-Hickman gets the challenge in. It's a goal kick in the end, but Taylor Gardner-Hickman will remember this game for all the wrong reasons. Shrewsbury 1, Sunderland 0. Matt Pennington with the goal inside the last 10 minutes there for Steve Cottrell's Shrewsbury. Here, Carlos Corberán's Albion trailing Paul Cook's Chesterfield by 3 goals to 2. Okay, Yakushlu on the ball, 10 minutes to go. DK looks as though he's offside. There's no flag, beaten away by Fitzsimons. Thomas Asante trying to follow it in. It's out for a throw. Must admit, I agree with some of the Chesterfield fans in front of us. DK looked a mile offside there, didn't he?
I'm with you, Rob, as well. I thought he was offside, but the linesman saying not having any of it. Is that Albion play on?
A ball into the Chesterfield penalty area again. A couple of blue heads get to it, and now eventually chested down by Horton and thumped away up towards Chimanga in the foot race with Ajayi, and Ajayi wins it with just that extra little turn of pace. Here's Wallace, and Akinola got the better of by Gardner-Hickman, who spreads it to this left-hand side, and Reach with the early cross, but easily defended at the near post by Chesterfield. Malumbi will let it drift out for an Albion throw. One or two tired legs out there in blue Chesterfield shirts now.
Yeah, definitely. Albion pushing forward now. Have they got that guile, that one, you know, that one person who's going to get them out of trouble here?
Here is Reach, 30 yards from goal. Square pass for Malumbi, and he was behind him in the first place from Reach. And now Chesterfield. Motor down the right-hand side for them with Mandeville. Early ball up to Chimanga. Chimanga knocks it behind him for Banks. Brighton have got a 4th goal at Middlesbrough, leading 4-1 now. Alexis McAllister, Argentina World Cup winner, with his 2nd of that cup tie. Here Albion are 8.5 minutes plus added time away from going out of the competition at the 3rd round stage. Trailing Chesterfield 3-2 on BBC Radio WM. King's ball up to Chimanga, just outside the Albion box. Yakushlu tussling for possession. Here's Wallace, a couple of step overs, and buys himself some room. He's got DK busting a gut to get forward. He's got Thomas Asante up with him, and I'm afraid that's a terrible, uncharacteristically terrible cross in from Wallace, and an easy pick up for the keeper.
That's not the Wallace we know, Rob, is it? You know, with that delivery, he's usually spot on in his delivery, but that time he's wayward. Just not going for Albion at the moment, just can't get an opportunity. Just got to keep pushing forward and hoping and trying to create.
Another couple of Chesterfield changes on the way. Paul Cook can sense that his players, or some of his players, are really tired now, and they need a helping hand in the minutes that remain to try and claim this FA Cup scalp.
Just hold on to what they've got now, isn't it? That's all that matters.
Wallace on the halfway line for Albion, 3-2 behind with 83 minutes played on BBC Radio WM, FM, DAB Digital, Freeview, and on BBC Sounds today. Ajayi out to Taylor Gardner-Hickman, midway inside Chesterfield territory. Goes back to Okay Yakushlu, into Brandon Thomas Asante. That's a dreadful touch by Asante, and
he's not been at it today, Rob, has he?
Well, he scored after 90 seconds, but we haven't seen him since then, really.
No, his touch and everything about him hasn't been the same.
But here's a chance for Wallace, fed by Malumbi. Wallace with the cross, DK trying to bring it down. It wouldn't quite sit for Grant, and poked away initially by Chesterfield, but retrieved by Reach. Knocked square for Yakushlu. Yakushlu into Thomas Asante. Got DK ahead of him. Thomas Asante with the shot, but didn't really get hold of it, and a comfortable save down to his right by Fitzsimons.
He's done the right thing for me, though, Asante, Rob, in that inside the box there. He's got it under control, and nobody's come to close him down, so he's tried the shot. As you say, I think he dragged it a little bit. It didn't get any power behind it.
Blackpool 4, Forest 0 now. Jerry Yates with the 4th goal for Blackpool. Song now is stand up for the Spyrites, which makes our commentary position a little bit difficult.
Impossible.
But you can understand why the Chesterfield fans are in high spirits, because their team have most definitely turned up in the FA Cup this afternoon.
Without a doubt. This will be some result, won't it? Carries on like this.
Here comes O'Shea. And a shout for offside against DK, not given. Reach with the cross, blocked behind by King. Albion corner.
Albion sending the lads, big lads from the back. O'Shea, Jai, DK in there. Can they get on the end of one?
Paul Cook's going to delay the changes until after this corner. Got another couple of fresh pairs of legs waiting to come on. 5 minutes to go. Are Albion going to get an equaliser here? Jed Wallace with the corner, headed away at the near post. Doesn't beat the first man.
No, you're right, Rob. Didn't get enough height on it.
Back with Wallace again. Tees forward. Fitzsimons made it. Seems to come. He's lost it, but then DK's shot goes straight back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's fell to DK his first time. He's got over it. He's struck it. It's gone into the ground and into the keeper's hands. Oh.
Drilled by Fitzsimons out to this near touchline, and Mandeville. Grant back to challenge him, but Mandeville retains possession. He's got King just behind him. Short and square to Mandeville again. 4 minutes left. Albion 3-2 down in the FA Cup, with Akinola in possession for Chesterfield. Back to King. Brighton 5-1 up at Middlesbrough now. And Ipswich 4, Rotherham 1. Going well in League One, Ipswich, along with Plymouth, the top of the table this season. Here come, as I say, 2 more Chesterfield changes now. And Akinola gets a deserved standing ovation, because he has been absolutely top draw for them in midfield today.
I agree with Rob, he's been superb. Akinola, he's been everywhere, he's put the tackles in, he's done brilliant for his team. In the middle of the park.
Kwasi Asante, who started his career at Birmingham City, now 30 years of age, is coming on. And the other change is Dobra gone off, I think, over on the far side. The 2-goal hero from the first half. And Ukek Bulum, featured on the BBC Sport website in the build-up to this game. Started out, or was recruited by AC Milan's academy. A trial with Everton, but heart condition meant that didn't progress. Now finds himself at Chesterfield, Ukegbulam, and here he is on the ball down the left-hand side for Banks. 3 minutes plus added time away from Albion going out of the cup. Here's King for Chesterfield, leading 3-2. Moved forward onto his right foot, squares it for Banks. Now out wide for Mandeville. Back to Banks, bit of space for him to move into, but he declines the opportunity to shoot. Finds Mandeville near the byline, who goes round, reaches though he's not there, and across comes O'Shea and has to concede a corner. Chesterfield's 9th of this game.
Yeah, they're still sending the men up to see if they can get that final goal, which would really put paid to this game. Although one of the central defenders is just staying back there.
08081 0099 56 with your reaction to the action. Albion fans starting to drift away and being waved on their way by the home supporters.
It's that desperate now.
King with the corner to the near post. It's cleared up towards DK. Ricochets into touch for a throw to Albion on the near side. Chesterfield fans on their feet as Dobra makes it to the dugout. His 2 first-half goals look as though they've seen Chesterfield into the 4th round here, Bomber.
The way it is at the moment, it's going to take something spectacular for Albion to get anything out of this game now, but they have got just good possession where he knocks out the play on that far side.
Poor touch by Gardner Hickman, Chesterfield throw. Well, you could say in a way that a replay is the last thing that Albion need, but this position, going into the 90th minute at 3-2 down, you'd take one, wouldn't you?
Without a doubt, without a doubt, yes.
In Chesterfield's day, despite the fact, I mean, lest we think, O'Shea stumbled on the ball there and Button has to nip in and clear it away. We're talking about it being Chesterfield's day. Albion were in front twice, weren't they, Bomber?
I know, they've threw it away, Rob, in that respect, haven't they? You know, once you go in the lead once and then you twice, you've got to make sure you win the game. As you say, against the non-league side as well. But no disrespect for Chesterfield, they have been superb for their manager, haven't they, this afternoon?
Oh, definitely. Gardner Hickman. Necessarily say that right backs his position, and that's given away by O'Shea. A poor pass by O'Shea, straight into touch for a Chesterfield throw.
That's an awful pass, Rob. You know, that's just lack of concentration for me. And Grant was there, and he tried to knock it to Grant, but Grant had gone on a run forward.
Well, the fourth official tells us 5 added minutes, which hasn't found favour with the home fans, but it gives Albion a glimmer, Bomber, at least, doesn't it? 5 minutes.
Gives you the chance, but you'd think, I'd have thought in the second half, Albion would have had a good opportunity somewhere along the line, but they haven't really, have they?
Not really.
They haven't really opened Chesterfield up in this second half.
I think DK's shot parried when he looked offside is probably the best one, and that was, you can only say, from the angle he took the shot, that was only a half chance, really, wasn't it?
Without a doubt.
3-2 from 41 minutes into this game, and that's how it stayed. O'Shea back to Button. Is there going to be one more opportunity for Albion to force a replay at the Hawthorns?
That's a good ball from
Ajayi out to the right-hand side, and Wallace brings it down. There's a Chesterfield player gone down in the middle. In comes the cross, headed goal by Thomas Asante, pushed out and cleared. And Chesterfield fans furious that one of their players, King, has gone down in an off-the-ball incident. But Brandon Thomas Asante's header saved by Fitzsimons.
Yeah, and they were appealing for a foul well before the ball coming across from that far side, before Wallace turned it in. They were claiming a foul, but the referee and the linesman's not having any of it. They didn't see it, but
going to be an Albion throw. King, though, will.
I didn't see what happened, Rob, did you? I didn't see any incident.
Following the ball,
yeah,
so
I didn't see any incident there neither. It's
off the ball, but
it's in front of us, but
Albion are going to have an attacking throw when Jeff King finally gets back to his feet. But it's desperation stakes now, chasing a third goal.
Load it in there, Rob. Just load it in there, hopefully somebody's going to get on the end of it for you.
3 minutes of added time remaining. Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 2 on BBC Radio WM in the FA Cup. 08081 0099 56. Liverpool against Wolves to come from 8, and then tomorrow Stockport against Walsall from 2. Aston Villa against Stevenage from 4:30. All those ties on FM, DAB Digital, Freeview and BBC Sounds this weekend. King is back on his feet, just moving his jaw. That's where he was caught, in his face, but it's going to be an Albion throw. Reach takes it back to O'Shea. Here's Gardner-Hickman chipping the ball forward and headed into the net by Thomas Asante, and there's no offside flag, and Brandon Thomas Asante has salvaged a replay for West Bromwich Albion. A looping header. There's a lone pitch invader that has his Albion flag taken off him and runs towards the Chesterfield fans, but Albion have got out of jail here in the FA Cup big time. Brandon Thomas Asante scoring in the first couple of minutes and the last couple of minutes of added time. A looping header on that occasion, and it's Chesterfield 3, Albion 3.
Absolutely brilliant finish from him, because the ball's come in there. They'd worked it on his left-hand side from the throw-in, Rob. The ball was laid in. Asante's found himself free, and I tell you what, he's plonked it into the corner. Good header from Asante. As you said, scored early, scored late. Got Albion out of trouble. That's what goal scorers do, Rob. It's a lot of trouble at the Albion end, though, isn't there?
I'm reporting there's
a lot run on the pitch, though. It's stupid.
Travelling fans who one or two of their Chesterfield counterparts want to ruck down in that corner, which the stewards are having to get involved in and trying to sort out. But I say, a replay's an extra game that Albion and Corbran could do without, really. But in the circumstances, in stoppage time, when you're 3-2 down to a team 3 divisions below you, you'd take it, weren't you?
And I suppose you could say at the end of the day, they showed a little bit of character getting that goal, but they hadn't looked like doing it, had they? But you never know when you've got goal scorers like Asante, DK. You've always got a chance.
Again, the Chesterfield fans were appealing, some of them, for offside. It must have been quite tight as well when the ball came in, but
I thought
the assistant kept his flag down.
I thought it looked offside, but it's not given. So
3-3. What a cup tie, Bomber.
I'll tell you what, it's been scintillating. First half was absolutely magic. This has been a little bit different second half, hasn't it? There hasn't been as many chances in that, but DK's fell.
Stumbled on the ball.
Yukushlu slipped over there. Oh no, it's
played
a ball.
out to the left-hand side for Horton. Horton with a cross. Knocked away by Reach. Back there defending Chesterfield. One more opportunity really with Asante out to Horton. Horton's cross headed out by Ajayi. Comes to Banks, and now down the right-hand side with King. Point of the penalty area, cuts in field on his left foot, but it's blocked away by Dara O'Shea. Underneath it, Williams. Nodded forward by Malumbi. Thomas Asante spins away from Williams, but fouls his man. Chesterfield free kick.
Yeah, he's unfortunate there. He's tried to turn the man, hasn't he? But he's fouled him. He's pushed him in the back in the process. Give the free kick away, and they've took the quick one, Chesterfield.
6 minutes into added time.
There it is.
And there is the final whistle, I think. No.
Is it? No,
he's
offside.
given a free kick for offside. Not quite all over.
No, on that far side, there's an offside decision.
Possibly when David Button strikes the ball now, it'll probably be the
she keeps looking at the watch. The referee, she keeps looking at what is she going to blow up when this free. No, she's not. She's carrying on.
Plays on. DK heads on, looking for Thomas Asante. Bit wide, Thomas Asante.
Can he get it across?
Near the byline. Twisting and turning, in comes his cross. He's slightly overhit it, but it might yet reach Jed Wallace. It does. Wallace trying to play it back into the middle. Appeals for hands from the Albion fans, not given. Out to Gardner-Hickman, back to Wallace again. Are we going to get a winner? In comes the cross. No, it's too close to the keeper, and DK goes down.
There it is.
Expecting a penalty, doesn't get it, and there is the final whistle. rip-roaring doesn't even do it justice. It's been an incredible FA Cup third-round tie. Albion twice in front through Thomas Asante and Grant. Chesterfield came back to level, then took the lead at 3-2 and hung on to that lead for virtually the whole of the second half until Brandon Thomas Asante's looping header deep in added time, his second of the game, means we have to do it all again at the Hawthorns in a replay. Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 3. Tony Bomber Brown, what a game.
Paddy, you just said it all there, Robert. I can't follow that. It's just been, you know, incredible. I thought the first half was absolutely brilliant, out of this world. The pace and everything about it, the goals. The second half wasn't as good in that respect, but it was a real cup tie, you know. And Albion have had to dig really deep, everybody, to get something out of this game. You know, we thought near the end there, as the clock was ticking away, we thought, now running out of time, it's not going to be their day. But they've well, Asante, wasn't he? He's pulled one out from nowhere. Great header, the ball come in, great finish, could have headed anywhere, Rob, overside, but he's plonked it in the net. And as you say, Albion's got a replay, and I think that belief that they've got in this run under this new manager has got them this result today. I think any other time we wouldn't have seen this comeback, this you know, this finish from Albion. It's just that confidence that they've got in the team, that togetherness, and it's got them a point at the end.
Well, massive credit to Chesterfield again, without wishing to be patronising in any way, shape or form. They have bridged the 3-division gap and some today, haven't they?
I'll tell you what, they've been absolutely magic today, Rob. They've shown me today that they're a better side than a lot of championship sides I've seen this season, by far. I'm telling you. And they can be proud of themselves. Paul Cook, the manager, he can go in there and say to the lads, I'm proud of you. You've been superb today. But, you know, we've got to go and do the same again at the Hawthorns. It won't be an easy game at the Hawthorns, will it?
Definitely not.
You know, if they come with that attitude,
they'll bring thousands with them as well in the Smethwick end, won't they?
And if you've got this attitude they have, you know, and they've got some big lads in there, they don't take any prisoners. So I'm looking forward to the game, the replay at the Hawthorns.
West Bromwich Albion live to fight another day in the FA Cup, but only just. Chesterfield 3, West Bromwich Albion 3.